Leo, take a breath with me. Slowly, gently. This message finds you not by accident, but because your soul has called for it. There is something in your home, something once familiar, once often used, that has vanished. You've searched for it more than once, haven't you? Maybe you checked your drawers, lifted furniture, asked everyone around you, but it was simply gone. As if it had slipped through the fabric of the physical world. As if it had disappeared not into another room, but into another realm. And still, something in your heart feels unsettled. It's not just about the object. No, it's more than that. It's the way its absence whispers to you, the way your intuition keeps circling around it, trying to make sense of its disappearance. Leo, what if I told you that this wasn't random? That this object did not vanish by chance or mistake? That its disappearance is a sign, a sacred moment of intervention from the universe itself? You see, what has left your physical space was never just an item. It carried weight, energetic weight, a vibration, a memory, and the moment you were ready to rise, to evolve into a new chapter of your life, the universe stepped in and removed what no longer belonged in your energetic field. But its story doesn't end there. Because while the object may be gone from sight, it is not yet gone from your spirit. The connection remains, a silent thread, an unseen echo. And this lingering tie, this invisible cordis, quietly influencing your energy, your clarity, your ability to fully step into your radiance. That is why you've been feeling this way lately. A bit dimmed, as if your natural shine is covered in a thin veil. You sense something is missing, and you're not wrong. But you're here now. And what I'm about to reveal to you, Leo, could change everything. So I ask you, before we go deeper, place one hand over your heart. Feel it. Listen to its rhythm. And ask yourself, am I ready to let go of what no longer serves me? Because if your answer is yes, then this moment will mark the beginning of a powerful transformation. One that starts with something as simple as a missing object and leads to something as vast as your destiny. Leo, the truth is, that object didn't disappear. It was taken, not by a person, not by accident, but by divine design. Something far greater than you, something ancient and wise, moved it out of your space with absolute precision because its energy was no longer in alignment with the person you are becoming. This wasn't a loss. It was a release, a sacred removal. The universe saw that you were ready to ascend, to expand, to become more, but this object, however small, however ordinary, was tethering you to an outdated frequency. It was anchoring you to a version of yourself that no longer exists. And so, it had to go. But here's the part most people miss. Even though it is no longer physically present, your soul hasn't let it go. You are still energetically searching for it. Each time you replay the thought, where could it have gone? Each time you mentally revisit that drawer, that shelf, that memory, you reattach yourself to an old vibration. And in doing so, something subtle happens. You begin to leak your own light, just a little at a time, but enough to feel it. Enough to notice that your luck isn't flowing the way it used to, that your creativity feels foggy, that your sense of purpose feels quieter, and worst of all, opportunities that once would have been drawn to your magnetism now seem to pass you by. This isn't punishment. It's not misfortune. It's the result of a lingering thread that must be cut, and only you can do it. Leo, I need you to feel the magnitude of this moment, because while the world may only see a missing object, you are being offered a chance to break free from a spiritual cage you didn't even realize you were still locked in. A cage made of energy, memory, habit, pattern, the kind that hides in plain sight, the kind that tricks you into thinking you've moved on when your soul is still looking backward. But not anymore. Not after today. Because today, you begin the process of reclaiming your light. Leo, let's speak truth to what you've been feeling. This isn't just about a lost item, it's about the strange sense of emptiness that followed. It's that quiet ache, that whispering absence, the feeling that something within you has dimmed, like a light behind a curtain you can't quite draw open. Maybe you've tried to ignore it. Maybe you've told yourself it's just fatigue, stress, a temporary phase. But deep inside, you know it's more than that. There is a missing spark, a subtle distortion in your aura, as if you're walking with a slight limp energetically. And here's why. Even though that object is gone, your energy is still reaching for it, like a star trying to orbit a planet that no longer exists. You are still bound to something invisible, and that invisible tether has become a vacuum slowly draining your inspiration, your confidence, your sense of direction. You've felt it, haven't you? That hesitation when you try to create something new, that inexplicable resistance when you attempt to move forward with a plan. The way ideas come, but don't land. The way people look at you, but don't truly see you. Leo, this is not your natural state. You were born to radiate effortlessly, to magnetize joy, to channel creative fire, to lead without even trying. But when you're energetically tethered to the past, your shine becomes diffused. It's as though you're walking through life with a veil over your light. And no matter how much effort you pour into your dreams, the results fall just short. Not because you aren't enough, but because some old imprint is still clinging to your field. This is what that lost object represents. It isn't about the object itself. It's about what it carried, what it symbolized, and what you unknowingly absorbed through your attachment to it. And now, the universe has stepped in to remove it from your space, but only you can remove it from your energy. Because until you do, you will keep feeling this disconnection from your true power. You will keep sensing that you are somehow just out of sync with the blessings that should be flowing to you. But Leo, I promise you this shift is within your reach. You're not far. You're not broken. You are being asked to finish what the universe started, to consciously release what was unconsciously holding you back. Leo, let's go deeper now. I want you to remember who you are, not who the world expects you to be, not who you try to become when you're tired and uncertain, but the real youth, brilliant, commanding, heart-centered force that turns heads without trying. You were never meant to live in shadow. You were never designed to feel unseen or unheard. Yet lately, something has been clouding your field, and you've sensed it. That invisible fog that keeps people from recognizing your worth. That subtle frustration when your talents go unnoticed, when your efforts go unacknowledged. This is not your fault, Leo. This is not weakness. This is the lingering effect of a pattern that was rooted in the object that disappeared. You see, that item, it was never just a possession. It was an energetic anchor. It held within it echoes of your past times when you felt small, times when you doubted yourself, when you settled for less. Maybe it was gifted to you by someone whose energy was never truly aligned with your growth. Maybe it came from a chapter in your life marked by struggle, insecurity, or loss. Maybe it carried memories quiet, heavy ones that your soul had long outgrown. But because you are deeply connected to the things you love, because Leo energy feels deeply and remembers loyally, you didn't realize how tightly you were still holding on to it. Even after it vanished, your spirit kept reaching for it. Not because you needed the object, but because it represented something you hadn't yet fully let go of. And that constant reaching, Leo, it's been exhausting you. It's been stealing your motivation, your clarity, your fire. That's why your dreams have felt paused. That's why your energy feels stretched thin. That's why you've been doubting whether you're really on the right path. But here's what's so beautiful about all of this. The universe didn't let you lose that object to punish you. It allowed it to be removed so you could finally see the invisible burden it carried. And now, standing here with this realization, you are being given a sacred invitation to reclaim all the power it drained. This is your moment. To choose presence over the past. To choose liberation over loyalty to old pain. To choose who you are becoming over who you've already outgrown. Leo, I want you to pause for a moment now and gently turn inward. Let your breath guide you as you step back through time 6 months, maybe more. Can you remember? What was the last object you searched for in your home? The one you couldn't find, no matter how hard you tried. Don't overthink it. Let your heart answer. Maybe it was a ring or a bracelet that made you feel special when you wore it. Perhaps it was a favorite penthey, one you always used to sign the important things. Or a scarf, a framed photo, a keychain, a little object tucked away in a drawer that held more meaning than it seemed. It might have been small, even insignificant to others, But to you, it held emotion, memory, energy. And as you search your mind now, the image of that object begins to rise, doesn't it? That's the one this message has been pointing you toward. It's not about what it was, it's about what it meant. Maybe it was given to you by someone who is no longer in your life, someone whose presence once brought warmth but now brings pain. Maybe you bought it during a time when you felt uncertain, alone, or afraid. Maybe it came from a place in your past that still echoes with limitation, self-doubt, or loss. Whatever its origin, that object became a vessel. It held a vibration. It absorbed the version of you that once needed it. But that version of you is no longer here. Leo, you have outgrown that energy. You've evolved. But until now, the object remained anchoring you silently, pulling at your energy like a weight you couldn't see. And the universe, in its loving wisdom, saw that it was time. Time to break that bond. Time to create space for what truly reflects who you are now and who you are becoming. But while the universe took the first step by removing the object from your physical world, it is now asking you to take the second step, to remove it from your energetic world. Because until you do, that object, though missing, will continue to cast a shadow over your light. And you, Leo, were never meant to live in the shadow of who you used to be. Leo, now that you've remembered the object, let us speak clearly about what it truly held. It wasn't just sentimental. It wasn't just practical. It was energetic, a relic of a chapter your soul has already closed. You see, every item we hold dear holds a vibration. And sometimes, without realizing it, we keep things in our lives that quietly echo back old fears, old wounds, old versions of ourselves that we've long since outgrown. That object, it may have seemed harmless, but it was humming with a frequency that no longer matched who you've become. It might have been a gift from someone who didn't honor your worth, or something you wore during a time when you didn't believe in your own power. Maybe it belonged to someone you once loved deeply, but whose energy carried sorrow, limitations, or emotional weight that you unknowingly inherited. Leo, even your own energy from the past when you doubted yourself, when you dimmed your light to make others feel comfortable, might have soaked into that object. And so, every time you touched it, every time you looked at it, every time it sat quietly in your space, it was quietly reaffirming that version of you, the one that played small, the one that hesitated, the one that forgot who they truly were. This is why it had to go. The universe doesn't make mistakes. It knew that as long as that object stayed within reach, a part of you would remain tethered to an identity that no longer serves your growth. And so, with grace and precision, it was lifted from your home not as a punishment, but as a sacred act of release. But Leo, you must understand, even though it is no longer here in form, its energetic thread is still lingering in your field, still clinging to the corners of your mind, still whispering that you're not quite ready, still holding you back from fully stepping into your power. And this is why you've felt that invisible resistance, that heaviness when you try to move forward, that inner war between who you were and who you know you are becoming. It's time to finish the release, to not just lose the object, but to let it go. Because only when you sever that last strand will your energy rise to meet the future that has been waiting for you all along. Leo, now comes the most sacred part of this journey. The moment when you no longer wait for the energy to shift, but choose to shift it yourself. You are not powerless here. In fact, the power to transform this energetic bond lies fully in your hands. All you need is presence, intention, and truth. Let me show you a ritual. Not one of candles and incense, though. You may use those if they speak to your heart. But a ritual of consciousness, of energetic detachment, simple, yet profound. And if done with sincerity, it will release all the weight you've been carrying from that lost object. First, close your eyes and visualize it clearly. See every detail, its color, its shape, its texture. Feel how it made you feel when you held it. Allow all the memories to rise without judgment, without resistance. Let them pass through you like waves. Then, speak gently to it in your mind. Thank you. Thank you for what you were to me. For the comfort, the memories, the lessons, for being part of my journey. And now say, but I no longer need you. I release you with love. I release all energy tied to you. I take back what is mine of me, light, my freedom, my future. Next, picture that object beginning to glow, softly at first, then brighter, until it dissolves into golden light, pure, radiant, and shimmering. This golden light floats toward you, re-entering your body through your heart. It's the energy you once gave to the object, now returned to you, but cleansed, free of limitation, free of pain. Breathe it in, feel it, settling in your chest, in your spine, in your voice. This is your power coming back home. This is your brilliance. Unbound. Leo, you have now completed the most important part of the process. You've taken what was once hidden and made it conscious. You've broken an invisible chain. You've reclaimed a piece of yourself that had been locked away in the past. And now, you are ready to move forward, not with heaviness, but with clarity. Not with missing pieces, but with wholeness. Because you, Leo, were never meant to be dimmed. You were meant to blaze. Leo, now that you've released this hidden anchor, feel the shift. It may be subtle at first, like a breath of fresh air you didn't know you needed. Or it may arrive like a lightning bolt, sudden, unmistakable. But make no mistake, the energy around you has changed. You are lighter, more present, more connected to your essence. And the universe? It feels it too, because energy never lies. The moment you clear the space within you, life begins to rearrange itself in response. The moment you let go of what no longer serves, the path ahead begins to illuminate with new possibilities. So don't be surprised if, in the days ahead, unexpected doors begin to open. A message arrives. A conversation shifts your perspective. An opportunity that once felt far away suddenly comes closer. You may feel a surge of creativity ideas pouring in like a river unblocked. Or a person from your soul tribe appears, seemingly out of nowhere, carrying the exact energy your heart was calling in. All of this, Leo, was waiting on the other side of your release. Because you were never being punished. You were being prepared. Prepared to rise into the next chapter of your soul's evolution. Prepared to receive without resistance. Prepared to live with your full light turned on. And Leo, let's not forget who you truly are. You are ruled by the sun itself. You are the heart of the zodiac. You were never meant to shrink, to hide, or to carry weight that isn't yours. You came here to shine, to lead, to inspire. But to do that fully, you must travel light. You must learn the sacred art of letting go no with bitterness, but with reverence. Not because what once was had no meaning, but because your future requires space to grow. And now that space has been cleared. So I ask you, Leo, are you ready to receive what was always meant for you, but could only reach you when your hands and your heart were free? Leo, now that you've created space, true space, what comes next is not just healing, it is activation. Your natural state is not hesitation, it is confidence. Your true energy is not confusion, it is bold, intuitive knowing. And now, without the weight of that energetic tether, your frequency is returning to its original brilliance. You may notice it in your body, more vitality, more fire in your chest, more ease in your breath. You may notice it in your mind, more clarity, fewer doubts, ideas clicking into place. Or you may notice it in the world around you, people suddenly seeing you, respect being given without you having to demand it, opportunities flowing without force. This is not luck, Leo. This is alignment. You are finally operating from your true setting, unobstructed. And it doesn't stop here. Because once you release what was never meant to stay, you open the floodgates for what was always meant to arrive. So stay open. Watch for the signs. That dream project you've been sitting on, now is the time to begin. That conversation you've been avoiding, now you have the power to speak clearly and with compassion. That role, that position, that place where your leadership is needed, you're ready now. And perhaps most importantly, Leo, that feeling that something within you was asleep, it is waking up. Your joy, your magnetism, your sense of purpose. They're returning not as a whisper, but as a roar. And this is what makes your transformation so powerful. It began with something small, a missing object, but it led you back to something eternal. Your truth, your light, your leadership. The universe never asked you to be perfect. It only asked you to be authentic, to clear away the old, so the real you could step forward. And now, Leo, that time has come. Leo, take one final breath with me. Feel how far you've come, just in the past few minutes, but in your soul's quiet journey across time. What began as a mystery, a missing object, has now revealed itself as a sacred turning point in your life. Because this wasn't just about losing something, it was about releasing something. It was about honoring the past, but no longer carrying its weight. It was about recognizing that what you once needed has already served its purpose. And now, you are free to rise without it. Leo, your life is about to look very different. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because you did. Because you finally made the choice to unclench your fist, to release the old, and to allow the fullness of your destiny to reach you. You've untied the final knot. You've pulled open the curtain. And now, your light shines through without obstruction. So what comes next? That, dear Leo, is up to you. But here's what I can tell you. In the days ahead, stay aware. The universe will begin to show you signs that your energy has shifted. A door will open. A connection will be made. A solution will arrive. You may even begin to feel like your life is moving again after a long period of waiting. You will be met with chances, real ones. Moments where your gifts are called forward. Moments where you must decide to show up as your highest self or return to the old story. But this time, Leo, you'll choose differently because you've let go. And in doing so, you've stepped into a higher timeline. One where your creativity flows effortlessly, where your voice is heard and valued, where your presence magnetizes what's meant for you. And perhaps most importantly, one where your light is no longer dimmed by things that no longer belong. You're no longer lost, no longer bound to the shadows of who you used to be. You've returned to yourself, and the world is ready to receive you. So walk forward now, not with hesitation, but with radiance. Let your every step be a declaration. I am no longer attached to what held me back. I walk in my full power now. I trust the path ahead because I know who I am. Leo, you are not just healing, you are rising. And in doing so, you give permission to others to rise with you. Shine, Leo, not just for yourself, but for all those whose lives will be lit by the fire you carry. Your extraordinary life has been waiting, and now, you're ready to live it.